What I'm going to do, because we sometimes get Zoom bombers, I'm going to enable the waiting room, and then Alex, you'll basically be co-host. So if people start, if we don't have legitimate people joining, you need to kill them. Okay?
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So Richard and Gemma. Okay, we're now live. Let's get started. So yeah, I think both of you contacted me about the Mercedes dealership. So I wonder if either of you could just talk a little bit about your perspective of the issue.
Yeah, sure. Gemma, do you want to start, or would you like me to start?
Go ahead and start, Richard.
I think you said, okay, yeah, I'll start then. Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank you for your time, Mr. Tanaka. So thank you for hearing us out. As you probably recall, this pertains to item number 25 on the consent calendar for tomorrow, which is the Mercedes Audi dealership. That was previously approved by the city, so that's why it's on the consent calendar. Our sole concern with the plan that's approved, and therefore our request, and hopefully we can count on your support to have it pulled from the consent calendar, is the car wash structure. We represent the office building floor. We are located on Bayshore. So the car wash structure, it's unfortunately I can't share the file right now. I'm using my cell phone, but the structure is.
Oh, I enabled the screen share. You could share your screen if you want.
I know, but what I'm saying is on my cell phone, so it's
sorry.
difficult.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
so it's
Okay.
hard on my end. Should have brought my laptop, but anyway. So this car wash structure is literally 5 feet from the property line. The applicant, of course, recognized that this noise, the noise, specifically the blower generated by the car wash, would be an issue. So they retained a firm and conducted a noise study. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that study. But the solution proposed by that study was essentially that, okay, we're going to have a car wash structure where we're only going to have the blower operate when both doors are closed, and they built the tunnel longer. And on top of that, I believe they had additional walls. They're called wings, I believe, spanning a bit over where the doors and where the door and the entrance would be. Well, we sent you an email, and that was their plan, and that's the plan that's approved by the city. We hired 2 independent acoustic consultants. They have done a peer review of this proposed mitigating measure. And again, they'll be participating tomorrow, and you can read the details in the report. We don't have that much time today, so I want to be parsimonious with our time here. Suffice to say that the conclusion from both of them was that this particular model, which is operating the blower with the door closed based on Helix study, is insufficient to meet the requirements of the Palo Alto noise ordinance. And more specifically, it's off by at least a factor of 2 in terms of the noise generated by this proposed structure is going to be twice as much as allowable under the code, which would be 8 decibel over the ambient.
Wait, so how's this being approved then if it violates the ordinance?
Because nobody ever looked into it. That's the answer. We spoke to Sheldon Singh, and he told us that the applicant's noise study has never been peer reviewed. So nobody really looked into it. The answer that I got from Mr. Singh was simply that, well, the applicant is ultimately responsible for following the ordinance, which is a true statement. However, the question in my view is, well, is it do we wait until they build the structure and then we get a sound guy out there, or is it better to address it at the planning stage? And in my view, the better view is the better approach before money is wasted on construction, et cetera, is to investigate it further here, which is what we're talking to you about.
So has you've talked to both the person developing this and the city already?
Okay, so the most recent development since that email is we spoke to Jonathan Late, Mr. Late, and we had a conference call with Mr. Late. We also spoke to Jody. In addition to Sheldon and the applicant, whom we conducted an earlier conference with. But what we haven't had a chance to do is to really get together with the applicant and talk to them and work with their engineers about a potential resolution. And we're hoping that by removing this from the consent calendar, they'll come talk to us and we can hopefully get a solution that everybody would agree with.
Have you tried talking to them yet?
We did talk to them, but at the time they were waiting for our expert report. I mean, this is all very, very rushed and recent. So to give you a very, I'll give you a 2-sentence summary on what happened. So we spoke to them in conference with Sheldon and Jody initially, and then we submitted our expert reports. We would send you that via email as well. After that, they just this Friday submitted a response from Helix to our experts report, which our experts are still reviewing. So literally this just happened Friday. So it's an ongoing process. The short answer, I suppose the short answer to your question is yes, but we haven't really discussed any potential resolutions.
Because there are already noise ordinances. So if this doesn't if this doesn't pass the noise ordinance, they have to fix it, right? So so because the item tomorrow is not on approving a noise ordinance or approving the noise study, right? It's on the project itself, not the noise, right?
Yes, but the project itself includes approval for the car wash structure.
But
That has
they
the
have to
noise
be
issue.
compliant with the noise, right? Because I think the way it works is if they can't figure out some sort of car wash that doesn't meet the noise, they're not gonna be allowed to operate it, right? The city will shut it down because it has to be compliant.
It's about the
Correct.
5-minute mark.
Oh, sorry, what did you say, Alex?
5-minute mark.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay. Actually, yeah, we have another one starting actually in 2 minutes, actually, at 4:18.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm
going
gonna try to do my best to be very
Yeah.
quick.
No,
You are correct.
we have a big discussion coming up in 2 minutes. We can't be late for that one.
Got it. Okay. So I'm going to be very quick and respond to what you just said. You're absolutely correct that they ultimately, it's the same thing that Sheldon said. Yes, they ultimately have to comply with the noise ordinance, correct. But what is better? One is, okay, well, let's leave it approved, have them go ahead and construct this thing,
Yeah.
and we'll get our guys out there. And if there's an issue, shut it down. By that time, they would have had to waste, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the structure.
That's their money,
And-
not yours, right? So I mean, I think they would be very incentivized, given that you guys are aware of the issue. I mean, I never talked to them, so I have no idea. But wouldn't they be very incentivized to make sure that they become noise compliant in any way, shape, or form? Because if they don't, I mean, they're going to invest all this money, and it's going to be no go, right? I would imagine that they would be very sensitive to solving this.
One would think so. One would think so. And they did respond to our engineering report.
Yeah, so they know that you guys are aware of it. So I wish I had a little bit more time, but I got to jump to the next call. But
Yes. So Greg, all we're asking really right now is for you to pull it out of the consent calendar, so we have more time to actually meet with the applicant, get their data, and be able to have a full hearing with you on August. That's all we're asking at this point. Just more
That's
time.
correct.
I have to look at this more in detail, but I got to jump to the next call because that one, a bunch of people are waiting. So, but thank you, and we can schedule more time later too if you guys need it. Okay. So, but thank you so much for your feedback. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your
Well,
time.
thank you, Greg.
Okay. See ya.